I welcome everybody. Welcome, Isaac. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for being
having me.
here.
Thank you.
I I am just thrilled you agreed to join me. Now, this is all Sherry H. Voices from the Swamp's fault. Because I saw you with Sherry and Manasa talking about the stress for the holidays or stressed out over the holidays.
hmm
And it was a very engaging conversation. And I told Isaac backstage before we went live, I was talking to Jeffrey and I was like going, so I'm going to be interviewing this guy named Isaac, and I don't know him, but I felt a connection. He says, so you're interviewing a complete stranger on Tuesday? And I went, yes, but you felt connected to him. I said, yes. And he says, that sounds like fun. So, I mean, and people, I mean, look at this man's smile. Is that not one of the most authentic things you've seen in 2023?
Thank you.
I mean, really. And by the way, I will probably be heaping praise in your general direction throughout much of this because I always like the little shining lights that I
Uh-huh.
see. And I'm
Uh-huh.
not calling you little, I'm calling you shiny.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Trust me, I would never call anybody little.
Okay. All right.
Not gonna
Okay.
not gonna do it. So
Thank you.
um, but anyhow, I'm glad you were here. All of Isaac's information is below. Isaac does not have a channel. And it's like, okay, we're going to say hi to everybody, but you sent me your curriculum vitae or your resume. You're a licensed professional counselor, a supervisor, you're a marriage and family therapist, you're drug or an advanced drug, alcohol and drug counselor. So um, you're doing some important work, aren't you?
I'd like to think so. I do.
Yeah. And I think everybody, please make him um, please make him feel welcome. Sherry, I am not picking on your buddy.
Hi,
I am not.
Sherry.
So let's say hi to some people. We have Manasa, who is work lurking. Work lurking.
Work
Yep. See you there. This is Jamie, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path, good friend of mine. We do a lot of stuff on the channel together. This is Aspasia Rising. This is Beth. So good to see you here, Beth. Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts, who was also on that live that you were with Sherry. It's like she says, "Hi everyone, please send prayers to Sacramento. I just heard they got hit with another earthquake, and Northern Cali is getting hit with flooding. Oh my God." Whew. Lisa Rhodes is here. Hello, Lisa. This is Robin, Toadstool Tarot is here, and Robin will be on my channel on Monday for, you may not know this, Isaac, but I have a drag alter ego.
Do you?
So yes, I do. It's Tarot Sachet.
Okay.
She's a bit sassy, a bit of a southern-ish belle
Okay.
in your face. And Robin is joining Tarot Sachet for Tea Time with Tarot Sachet.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing sassy readings for people.
Okay.
If people want to ask the question, we're going to give them the sassy answer.
Okay.
So be ready. And all right. So, oh, my chat just jumped. So lots of love here. Lots of people saying hi. Lisa is here. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Lisa.
Hershey is here. Hershey is a new person that I have met online.
Okay.
This is Zane, Tarot Token Witchery, a friend of mine who's been on my channel several times. And this is Brian, Blushing Nerd Tarot, who is also work lurking. So, and by the way, Isaac said yes yesterday to this. because I was just like going, it's a new year. I'm just going to go, let's just ask. And so it works. So, okay. All right, Isaac, you have beautiful aura colors. Happiness to see that.
Thank you.
This is Jamie, and she experiences a lot of things. She experiences people's energy in colors.
Okay.
So
That's
that
wonderful.
is high praise.
It is.
That is high praise. So just getting caught up in the chat. Big hellos. I'm waiting for Ms. Tarot D to get better. Yep, we'll have the royalty back. I see Micah is here. Hello, Micah. Good to see you. Medium Betsy Palmer is here as walk lurking. So, so I finally filmed. Yay. Okay, so that was a lot of information, wasn't it, Isaac?
Yes. But
Okay.
it was good.
Okay. Okay. I'm expecting you to tell me when it wasn't. So, but so Isaac, one of the things that was really important for me is, and one of the reasons I connected with you is when you were with Manasa and Sherry, you were talking about things to help yourself through the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so very important because, and I love this, the holidays come at the same time every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you celebrate Christmas, it comes on the 25th of December.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And part of it is don't ignore that you know that it's coming up and get
Right.
ready for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this is the time of the year where we're past the holidays, so to speak, and we're in the new year.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of things do you do to support yourself in a new year?
You know, really, what I don't know, I'm like, I like to be prepared, but I don't like to like sort of future trip, if that makes sense. I like to be prepared. One thing that I'll do is I'll do my meditations, I'll do my gratitudes, and that's something that I've done for so long. It just feels like uh, it's like it's. I do it without even thinking about it. It's on
Mm-hmm.
autopilot. Like meditation,
Yeah.
I will. Sometimes I'll do like walking meditations. I like to walk, and most
Mm-hmm.
of the time when I'm doing stuff like that, I like walking alone. If I don't know why, but
Sure.
it feels like if I'm walking with someone, it feels like I'm entertaining. And I think
Oh,
it's
uh-huh.
because I make a connection with the person, and I'm so tuned in that it's like I'm sort of attending to them, and I have to have that alone time. That
Mm-hmm.
that's what really helps me is that alone time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, but you said you shared a whole lot of really wonderful stuff there. I'm going to throw it all out, and then we can
Okay.
pick up whatever. You've been practicing gratitude for a long time, so I'd love to know about your gratitude practice.
Mhm.
It also feels to me, Isaac, you need to take care of you first
Right.
before you can support anybody else.
Right. Right.
And there's a physicality about you taking care of yourself, that movement.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Well, this this year I'm consistently exercising. In the beginning, I was like exercising. I probably started out 3 days a week, and then I got up to five
uh-huh.
days a week. And then I realized about 4 days a week works for me, um, and and I would almost call it a New Year's resolution, but I always seem to do my New Year's resolutions in October. And I don't know if it's because that's the beginning of the fiscal year. I don't know. But anything that I've ever done that I say that I'm going to make a change, it sort of starts in October. And I started
Hmm.
doing the exercises, and that really keeps me. It makes me feel good about myself that I'm being
Yes.
trying to keep myself healthy, but it's not like I'm. It's sort of it's still fun. I've gotten into the habit. It's like when I wake
Hmm.
up and I tell if I'm lying there and I say to myself, "Oh, I don't think I want to do this morning." But when I get up, I just start putting on my workout clothes and I go ahead and do it.
Yep. You've made it into a routine,
Yeah.
and and I actually think from a magical standpoint, that routine builds the energy and it makes it more powerful. Like you just said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't want to do this," but you get up and you start putting your clothes on and going.
Hmm. And
So,
another thing that I do when I start feeling like that, Gerald, it's like what I noticed about me, and I think this works for most people. Whatever I tell myself the night before is what's on my mind the next day when I get up. And it's like
oh,
I will often tell myself, okay, I know that I'm going to get up, I'm going to go and get in the bathroom, get my shower, whatever I'm going to do. I tell myself that because what where the mind goes, the body follows. And we have to be careful about what we're telling ourselves. I think Wayne Dyer used to say that all the time. But I've heard a lot
yeah,
of people say it, but it's about us telling ourselves what we're going to do. I think.
yes. I agree with you. I want to get caught up in chat because there's some wonderful things being said. Ivana Intuitive is here. Hello, Ivana. And Ivana will be joining me in a couple of weeks.
Oh.
Beth Aspasia Rising said, future trip. So expresses, I'll be using this. So, there you go. I like that. I
Hmm.
like that. I think it's, and Jamie said, I see folks set themselves up for a letdown, thinking that a new year is miraculously going to change how they feel. It still works sometimes.
Hmm. I believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I
Hmm.
agree. And Robin said, it bugs me that New Year's seems to set up such big expectations. They make for pressure that we need. They make more pressure than we need. We already have enough.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
And I would say I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm sure many people watching do.
Hmm.
And it's the internal pressures. It's
Yeah.
this sense of I have to be a certain way.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's one of those crazy things.
Hmm.
So um, yeah, society doesn't help. And by the way, just in case people are wondering, where is it? This is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make any decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance.
Yes. Yeah.
Really. Um, and Gertrude is here. Hello, Gertrude. Um, I wonder if New Year's resolutions feels more like New Year's disillusion, dissolution. Well, desolation. And oh, Julie Kucha Watts is cooking and lurking.
Okay.
Um,
Hi, Joe.
so Joe is here. Hello. Life be life in. Yeah. Heather is doing no resolutions, just a lifestyle adjustments,
Yeah.
healthier choices,
Hmm.
and Isaac and I were talking backstage a little bit. I have some postgraduate training in Gestalt therapy. I am not licensed to do anything in my state other than drive, so I'm not a professional at all. But I think it's that idea of being in the moment and being aware
Hmm.
of where we are as right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So Okay, I'm going to take a sip because I've been talking a lot, Isaac. I'm excited to have Isaac hear people. So,
I'm glad to be
see, and look at that big smile. Look at that big smile. Can you imagine having this man support you when you're
there.
going through some rough shit? He's probably the guy, and Isaac, and you can deny this. You're probably the guy who, when we're talking, you're going to call me on my crap, aren't you?
You know, I will. This is what I would say, Gerald. If somebody says something that I don't agree with, I won't. Uh, I will let them know in a caring way, but I don't go along with what people say if it doesn't feel right to me. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
That does. That makes perfect sense. Because, and yeah, go ahead.
And getting to this point, I don't want anybody to think that I just decided one day that I would meditate, I would exercise, and I would, be more direct or be more open. It's been work. It's been a journey. It's truly
Hmm.
been a journey, but it's something that I wouldn't trade for anything. It's not. None of us are perfect, but we can do better. I think we just have to decide.
Hmm. So, are you okay with sharing a little bit about your gratitude journey?
Yeah. Hmm. Uh, there was this there was this lady one time, and I've heard about gratitude, and there was this lady one time. She said, "You should thank God for everything, no matter what happens to you, Isaac. You thank God." And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It sounds crazy.
Hmm.
Because, but what I started to look at it in a different way. Everything is an experience, and I've had situations where I thought that things were not good, but they turned out to benefit me in the long run. Like maybe leaving a job that I wasn't happy with, and often thinking sometimes, oh, maybe I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have left, but something better came along later,
Hmm.
and I think that's what it is for me. But the gratitude is when you express gratitude or appreciation, you build spirituality. You actually pull your energy back to you, because what we tend to do is we tend to, and I think a lot of it is like, we can blame it on social media, commercialism, whatever, but we're looking at other people and we're thinking to ourselves, well, I could, that should be me. I wish I had that. I wish I would like that. But we have to realize we don't know what other people are going through. They may just have on a good face that day. And
Hmm.
what I do, what the way I started out was, it's like three things that I was grateful for each day.
Hmm.
Figure out three things that I was grateful for. I would sit in silence, that maybe like 1 to 3 minutes, and then I would have a good wish for myself or somebody else. And basically, that's meditation, prayer, and gratitude. That's all it is. And you're bringing your energy back to you. It's like you could walk outside and see a blooming azalea bush and think to yourself,
Hmm.
"Oh, that's so nice." But what you should also do, I believe, is feel what it feels like in your body when you're appreciating something, because it's a totally
Hmm.
different feeling than it is when you go out and you see something that you don't like. But I think the thing that happens is we remember what the bad feeling is like, and we take
Yes.
for granted the good feeling. And I think we should collect more of the good feelings, and to
Yes.
we get to the point where we're doing it automatically. That's what I.
Hmm.
That's what I think.
And I am a firm believer that gratitude does not remove the sorrow and the struggles. Gratitude helps us to frame it.
Yes.
And if and it's not, there's that phrase toxic positivity.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, that is different than gratitude. Gratitude is feeling. I like how you said that, noticing in your body where you have that feeling, where you can sense it.
Yes.
Because if you can sense it in your body, then you can recognize when that physicality shows up again.
Yes.
And it's not the, oh, let go and let God stuff. That's toxic positivity.
Hmm.
Instead of, let me sit with you
Yes.
and help you be where you are, because that's about returning your energy, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is. Because basically, I think whatever it is, we have to go through it. Uh, what we tend to do, and this is from Zukov, and I've Zukov, Esther Hicks, so many people, they start to run together. But what he says is, we don't run from people and situations, we run from our emotions, because the emotions remind us of things from the past, and we sort of like we start to do whatever we do. That could be, we
Mm-hmm.
could avoid, we could eat, we could shop, whatever we do that so that we don't feel the feeling. And a good example, Gerald, would be like if you've ever been depressed, and when a person who's been depressed, I don't think they realize it, but they're on the watch for it. I don't want this to happen again. I don't want this to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person, well, we're in flu season, if that person got the flu and they were feeling bad, their mind would say, I don't feel good. What is this? Is this depression? Our mind
Oh.
tries to label things. And if we don't
Mm-hmm.
consciously say, wait a minute, no, I'm not depressed. I know I have the flu and I will be able to get over this. I think it's about talking to ourselves, having that dialogue that is
Mm-hmm.
realistic, but also realizing that I know I was in a depression. I don't want to go back there, but this is not that. If that makes sense.
That makes really good sense. That's extremely powerful, because you are not denying the depression. You're using your physical body and your mind to go, no, this is the flu.
Right.
This is not the depression.
Hmm.
And I think that's really powerful. I mean, you're saying, dude, listen to me, dude. You're like giving gold to people. It's like, holy mackerel. Okay, I'm gonna get caught up with the chat. Oh, one of the things that I did recently, or just yesterday, Isaac, is I did a video about picking a word of the year
Uh huh.
rather than making a resolution.
Hmm.
So Gertrude's New Year's resolution is to soar. So it's very much like the word of the year. And my word of the year last year, Isaac, was intention.
Okay.
And so very much for me, it was last year, it was I needed to know what my intention was.
Uh huh.
If I wanted to eat a bowl of popcorn,
Uh huh.
I needed to know why I was eating that bowl of popcorn.
Uh huh.
I could still eat that bowl of popcorn,
Uh huh.
but I needed to know why. This year, my word of the year is edit.
Okay.
Edit. I'm editing out things that are not building me up.
I like that.
So thank you. And that's why I was Gertrude. It's a word of the year instead of a resolution. It's that true north. It's
Yeah.
just to help in a different way. So Gertrude's is to soar.
Hmm.
Love that. Beth shared, in Buddhism, you are taught to be grateful for obstacles and challenges, because that's when you learn, with that path leading to enlightenment.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you probably knew that, didn't you?
I I've read the Dalai Lama for quite some time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've
Good
read all
stuff.
the I read all this stuff, and then one day I just decided that, hey, I probably better start doing it. I had a lot of information. I wasn't doing it.
Okay. And Isaac, I have to say, that is a tarot sachet moment when you go, I better start doing something with it. Just don't gather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lisa said, what bothers me about the holidays is after them, there's a drought or emotional withdrawal in January for me. Even when my holiday is a quiet, need goals and motivation.
Mhm.
And I recognize that, Lisa. And it sounds like you're already doing things to help you get through this January drought. You
Mhm.
need goals and
Mhm.
you need motivation.
Mhm.
I think that's very powerful.
Mhm.
Very powerful. Um, are you seeing some stuff in chat that you want to comment on?
Yes.
Please tell me.
Wandering Mountain.
The
Uh,
Arctic Path.
yes. 33 years, Al-Anon.
Hmm.
That, this, I know codependence. I could have written the book.
Hmm.
And I understand uh, 12 steps really well. It's like when I first started working in the treatment facility, uh, didn't know, I just knew the 12 steps existed. And I worked with
Hmm.
these two wonderful people, and it was like I just understood it. I just soaked it up. But uh, I've read Melanie Beatty, The Language of Letting Go, for years.
Hmm.
And then I realized one day I did something, and it sort of startled me because I thought to myself, I don't usually do this. I don't usually, speak up or whatever it was I did. And then I realized that I had started making changes. But uh, I totally understand codependence. Totally.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. For codependent people have problems saying no. And if you tell a codependent person, and this may be a check or a self check, if you tell a codependent person to, oh, just go back out there and tell them no, you might as well tell that person to get their lawn chair, soak to the bottom of the pool, and take some deep breaths because that's
Yeah.
what they hear. It's like,
Yep.
I can't do this, but it's all about practice. You have to learn to say no in your own way. Your no may be, I really wished I could help you, which is true, but I'm not going to
Hmm.
be able to. And people will leave you alone.
Yeah. And Jamie shared that my pop was an alcoholic. My brother and I happily did not choose that path. We
Good.
were introduced to Al Anon as kids. It made a much better coping for a kid.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yes. Yes. And I think and I agree with you is this is one of those things that um when somebody says you need to find your own voice,
Yeah.
that's really can be frightening
Uh huh.
and exciting and thrilling and scary all at the same time.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
Because what if people don't like what I have to say?
Uh huh.
What if I get scared by what I say?
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things that with people who understand that, they can actually make it okay for you to say what you need to say and hear you
Yes.
and not be triggered by what you say.
Right.
So you're looking at comments, Isaac. Tell me.
No, I haven't seen anything. When I look at something, people know that I'm looking. So it's like I was just reading.
Well, it's all good. It's all good.
Well,
I
you know what I would say, Gerald, finding your voice. And people say that all the time. Finding your voice. Say no. People will tell us these things, even professionals. I made a promise to myself I won't suggest anything to anybody if I can't tell them how to get there,
Yes.
because it makes them feel like they're incompetent or that they can't do what other people are doing. And it's all about practice. It's all about practice. And I wouldn't, I will, I refuse to tell somebody to do something if I can't tell them how to do it.
Yes. And that actually, I think that's the moment. Okay. By the way, the link to the live that you were on with Sherry and Manasa is linked below.
Okay.
Go watch it, because there was a moment when you said, Isaac, and this is where my lights went off, and I went, talk to this man, find out this man. You had said something of as something to the effect, my job is to help you do what I'm doing with you in person, so
Mm.
you could do it on your own without me.
Right. Right. I don't want people to be dependent on me, because everybody has certain qualities and skills that they're good at. And if you start
Yes.
there, you could bring those skills into their personal life. I mean, like there are
Yes.
certain things that people really do well, but they don't realize I can parlay this into another area. And when you start to look at those things, they start to say, "Yeah, I do that. I do that." And they can make
Yeah.
those changes.
Yeah. Jamie has to head out, but must go. But Isaac, thank you for sharing your time with us. Your light is amazing. Take
Thank
care,
you.
all.
Thank you.
So, and I think this is one of those things that it goes back to this idea of the importance of okay. I am a firm believer. If you need support, this is entertainment purposes. If you need professional help,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Because when you know you need help, that shows your strength and your power.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that I learned when I was in my years of therapy, because in that postgraduate work, Isaac, I also had to go to therapy
Hmm. Yeah.
as I was learning how to do therapy and stuff. Um, and I remember hearing my therapist say to me, "It feels like I'm working harder than you are, and that's not how this should be." And I went, crap. I just got called out, but I got called out in a way that meant something to me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And that's a helpful thing.
You said that if you we're being strong when we ask for help. And most people think that they're strong when they hold on to issues and they suffer through situations. They think that's being strong, but it's a flawed premise. It's
Yeah.
more, it's you're stronger when you can release it. And then there's a possibility that you move toward healing. The other way, there's no possibility that you move toward healing. You just stay stuck. But when you can say, okay, it like in the therapy session, even if you're cussing the therapist in your head, and you finally get to say that, you get to talk about whatever is going on. And
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
don't talk about it, when you don't bring it into the light, you can't explore it, you can't discover it, you can't move past it, I believe.
Yeah. And actually what I did was is I argued with my therapist
Uh-huh.
when she said that to me.
Uh-huh.
And she's like going, "You're really fighting this." And I'm going, "Yes, because you're right, and it annoys me."
Uh-huh.
And I even said, and then at that time it was a good moment, because I actually said, because that tells me how much you care about me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not caring that much for myself.
Right. Right.
Talk about pivotal moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, whew. Okay. Robin said a while back, I discovered a trick recently. If you want to make something happen, verbalize it out loud 9 times, pause and repeat. It actually seems to manifest magic. Frame it without using negatives.
Hmm.
and feel rather than think. And Lisa said, these communities are my saving grace. I learned so much, and the interaction offers such growth. I
Yeah.
appreciate you being here, Lisa. And you're right. I think it's great. Um, and Beth said, that's what yoga helps us with, going inward to feel and stop analyzing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and okay, so I get it. Read, read, read. And hey, buddy, your life is a movie. Action from Lisa. Um, okay, so I'm caught up. And Micah said, I asked for help. I need it. Today was the first day I didn't cry, and she's like, those meds are working. LOL. And I have to say, Micah, congratulations.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like, what do you say? It's like you asked for help, and yeah, stuff takes time.
Right. Right. It does.
So,
It does. I'm happy for you.
but yeah, that's great. Yeah, she was a really good therapist. Very good therapist. Um, so you practice gratitude. Do you
Mhm.
do any writing of your gratitude?
I used to. I I'm not, and I used to try to do a journal. I can do the letter writing thing, but daily journaling is I don't. I'm not able to stick with that. I've written things down. They're everywhere. I find them later. Uh,
Hmm.
but I don't write. It's sort of like in my head now. It's like
Sure.
I see it, and I can be grateful. And I will
And what
identify.
is? Go ahead.
I said I will identify things like specifically, but
Sure.
mhm.
I guess. So what is the letter writing thing?
Really, it helps people get past emotions. It helps. Really, what it does, it helps you to clarify. And
Hmm.
this is the principle behind it. We all have things that we want to say to
Hmm.
people or about situations or to institutions that we never say because we think if I speak this out loud, people will think I'm crazy, people will think I'm angry, or whatever we think. And so I might write a letter to someone that I'm having an issue with or some situation, but I usually do it at night before I go to bed, and
Hmm.
I'll destroy it. Usually, I destroy it by burning. So um,
Sure. Yes.
it's sort of like in a ceremonial type way, and you go to sleep. Everything will just process in your head, and it doesn't need to be a long letter. Some people will say, "Well, I wrote six
Exactly.
pages." If you can keep it to two and a half pages or below, you're doing good because your mind will put everything together. Your mind is like a computer; it's all in there. You just hadn't pulled it. You hadn't defragged it. So,
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And no, Lisa, you do not mail the letter to them.
oh no, no,
This is
no,
for you. Oh, girl, no, no, no,
no.
no, no,
You,
no.
hey, there's a principle behind that, Gerald. You should not try to solve a problem by creating another problem.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
Lisa, I hope that was that, I hope you gathered that as the fun. This is for you to process and to clarify.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Okay.
when you run the if you give somebody a letter, if you go tell somebody off, you run the risk of being re-traumatized
Hmm.
because
Very
people
much.
people get defensive, and they say that never happened. It could be their memory against your memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lisa said, I came across a quote. What do you think about it? I create as I speak.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Very much so.
Hey, I saw this and I found it. I had a little picture of it. I don't know where it is. It's like I'm gonna try to find it. It's like this little character. Uh, let's see. It's like these little cartoon characters. I'll have to explain it. I think I can paint a picture because I can't find it. Too much, too
Okay.
much going on in my head. These two little characters, and they were like just cartoon characters. They didn't have any specific form, and one of them had like this little banner on, like you see in the old movies, where the advertising, and it had on it written on it, happiness. And the one little character says, "Where did you find that? I've been looking for it everywhere." And the and the other little character says, "I created it."
Mm-hmm.
So you can create your own happiness.
That's true. Lisa Rhodes did say, yes, I know, hun. Been in therapy for years. Love to let my abusers know exactly what they did, though.
Mhm.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that a sad situation, but if you dealt with people, this is just my thinking. If I've dealt with people who have denied that they've abused me for years, I don't know if they're going to change. And
Mm-hmm.
even if they did change, it may not put you where you need to be. And I'll tell you a story. I was married once, and I don't want to make anybody sound bad. Let's see. Well, let me just say, some people are better at things than you are. And when I thought to
Mm-hmm.
myself, this, I'm not as good at this as she is. I need to let go. When I let
Mm-hmm.
go, it was like, and Macy Gray says something in a song that really makes sense. She said, sometimes I'm winning even when I, sometimes I'm winning even when it seems like I'm losing. Or something
Mm-hmm.
like I know I didn't quote it right, but
Yeah.
it's like it may have seemed like a loss, but I got out with my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not totally intact. I had to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Paper Moon Tarot, Nancy is here. Hello. Good to see you. And
Moon.
that said, movies end with both parties reaching an understanding. It's hard lesson when you realize you work it out alone.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
believe.
And happiness isn't something you look for, it's what you create.
Yes,
Huh.
yes.
And you know what? I also think that the happiness changes day to day, moment by moment.
hmm
And that's powerful
hmm It is.
because if I'm staying the same, then I don't necessarily think I'm growing,
hmm
if I would say that. Um, Zane said, I've always wanted to be a journaler, but I'm terrible at it. Well, then be a terrible journaler if you want to
Right,
keep doing it.
right.
Just be a crappy journaler.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, I think, and um, okay, I'm going to take a sip. If people have questions and that are watching, and by the way, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to my channel. Watch the video that is linked below from Sherry's channel with Isaac and Manasa. And this is something we do on my channel. We got this started by Deanne, Blue Crescent Tarot. It's a sip sip. It's that everybody, you need to hydrate.
Yeah.
You need to hydrate. And I think so. You've never heard of the word using a word of the year? Have
Mm-mm,
you ever used that?
mm-mm. I've never done that.
Okay. Um, it's powerful for me
hmm
because it feels less restrictive than I'll just resolutions seem restrictive,
hmm
And a word of the year sounds empowering.
Okay. And you know one thing, I don't have a resolution every year. Sometimes I don't do anything. But,
Yeah,
but I think there's so many ways. We all have different ways to get to where we want to be. And think
exactly.
about it. Think about it. Life is supposed to give us experiences, and hopefully from
Hmm.
experiences we learn. If my life was just totally if our lives were just totally happy, nothing happened, every we just heard celestial music, we probably wouldn't be in the physical.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with you. Um, so I asked you before we went live if you have any divination tools that you use.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to share a little bit more about what you said?
I
And by
love
the way, Nancy, Sauvignon Blanc, is that hydrating? Probably not exactly, but you're going to want to balance that with a lot of water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Divination tools. I have oracle cards, I have tarot cards, I have a pendulum that it just goes crazy in my hand, but I'm no good at any of that. I've watched shows, and usually if I watch something, I get it. But I
sure.
could watch a tarot reader and not even remember what the card meant later. I've have tarot cards with the meaning on them. I
Hmm.
tend to get things in download. They just come
Sure.
to me. They just come to me. I I will be mostly it's like when I walk into my bathroom, walk into a bath. I'm thinking it may
Hmm.
be the mirrors or whatever. It may be something that I wasn't even thinking about. And the thoughts just pop into my head.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
it'll do that too if I have something that I'm thinking that I need to work out. Maybe I'll wake up early in the morning and the thought comes to me and I'm like, okay, stick with that.
Yeah. So, what are your, before people ask it in chat, do you know your astrological signs?
Uh, I I'm a what is Aries.
Okay.
That's all I
I
know.
don't know what that means. I figured people in chat would be going, you know, oh, and Lisa Rhodes said, Isaac, I'm exactly the same way.
Okay.
So, and I actually think, that's probably, and I said to you, Isaac, that's probably why you're a good counselor and therapist.
Uh-huh.
You get these intuitive hits.
Yeah. When I'm sitting with a person and I can connect with them and I had to learn that. It's like information will just come to me about them and what maybe what they need to do, what they need to work on. It'll just come to me. And I just have to
Hmm.
I have to be present. But that was when that I had to learn to get myself out of the way. Like you were talking about all the feelings that because when we're sitting with people, we're really dealing with all of our stuff. But if we can be that blank slate, it's like we can sort of connect with that other person. And
Yes.
then we can help them.
Yeah. If people have questions in chat, pop them in. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Getting to know Isaac, to do that. Um, I find it. No, I don't find it. I think it's wonderful that you have those divination tools.
Mm.
You have not discounted them,
No, I have not. I have not.
and there are a couple of moments pivotal in my own therapy, and one was I did a tarot card reading about what I was working on, and I decided to bring it up to my therapist, who actually engaged with it, and it was extremely helpful.
Wow.
And it was like, ooh, that was good. That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So Robin said, I wrote a gratitude letter this morning and sent it to a college professor I had 50 years ago. to send some validation for his work and to express where that energy rippled to and how it manifested.
That's wonderful.
That's great.
That is
That's
wonderful.
great. Yeah. And Lisa said, you have those hits, but you don't want to tell what they could do. A conundrum. Yeah, when you get those hits.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
what I would say to you, Lisa, is when I'm working with a person, it's like I've found a way to talk to them. And I'm always trying to be caring, because when a person thinks that you know too much about them, they sort of get antsy, they get squirrely, and it's like they don't want you knowing all of this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the information that you get might just be for you, that you don't share it. And
Yeah.
but in a counseling situation, it may be that, okay, this is the direction I know we need to go. And but if it's just somebody that you meet socially, that person may be perfectly okay where they are, or they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets to their own point where they really want to do something different. I think we shouldn't be. It's almost like somebody says, like, you're snatching the bandages off of wounds, that you shouldn't be doing that, because you're exposing people. And
Mm-hmm.
if people are okay with where they are, we have to let them be okay. It's not our job to save people. It's not.
Right.
If somebody
It's
asks
our
us,
job. Yeah. And it goes back to that what you said on Sherry's live. You want people to be able to do this without you.
yes, yes, yes.
So Nancy Paper Moon Tarot asked, I'm waiting for it to pop up so I can post it. How long does it take for the most patients to get comfortable enough with you that they open up, given you start as a stranger?
uh, Most people tell me the big stuff most of the time in the first meeting. The people who won't tell, I can pretty much. I This is the way I can tell if a person has opened up. And if I'm working with someone and I've gone through 2 sessions or 3 sessions and there's no change, I tend to tell the person, when I work with someone, I usually see change quite quickly. But we seem to be talking about the same thing. I'm wondering if we're talking about the right thing. And
Ooh.
because I want them to realize that they could get a bit further if they would just talk about the real issue. But
Mm-hmm.
when people talk about, when I don't see the change, it's like, and I know that people they're afraid to let that stuff go. It feels like it's going
Yeah.
to tear them apart or something.
Mm-hmm.
But and most of the time, to be honest with you, I don't need to know details. I've heard the stories before, and they're
Yeah.
they're they're the same stories with different actors, different players.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I will ask people to do letter writing, because they don't need to tell me the story. They can tell it
Mm-hmm.
to spirit, to God, to whoever, and it's gone. The details are not going to help me anyway. What can I do with it?
Yes.
I cannot do
Yeah.
anything with it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Um, I'm looking at my notes because I was I was trying to be an overachiever,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually wrote notes because I wanted to impress Isaac. So um and Lisa said I think they need to feel comfortable like they are sitting with their friend and they can open up, and I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I also need to feel safe.
Uh-huh.
And that safety, um, that means different things to different people around different topics, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, Gerald,
So,
too, when the way I'm talking to you, this is what a therapy session sounds like with me. We're just
mhm,
talking. I don't try to get into, okay, how does that make you feel? Where do it's really, it really just flows, because I think that's what helps people to be comfortable. But it depends on
yes,
how you were trained. I came through. I was trained in like treatment facilities, and if you talk to people like that, try to make them figure out what is going on with them and what their thoughts are, they get upset with you, because it's like, if if they knew all of that, why would they need me? So,
yeah, yeah. Michelle Marie is here, Astrological Tarot, and said, so true. I did the 5 whys exercise in therapy to figure out where the wound was. Once we identified the core issue, I could get to work.
mhm, mhm.
Yep. And Calla Lizzie is here. Hello, Calla Lizzie. So
Hello, hello, Calla
I'd
Lizzie.
feel like I'd analyze the therapist. I totally get that because Lisa was talking about being an empath.
Uh huh.
And sometimes I'm like and I actually tried that with my therapist once, if I'm honest. I tried to psych her out.
Uh huh.
It didn't work. You know, she was smarter than me, and she just like going, well, you know, that's not about you, is it? Okay,
Uh huh.
boundaries. So, um, yeah, yeah. Nancy said, Isaac, you were going to get so many new clients from this video.
I don't. I don't. One thing I did. I I work at a university now, and the young people come in there. They get better quickly, because
Hmm.
that's just what I'm seeing, because they want to change. And when I was in private practice, I wouldn't I wouldn't take on a lot of people. I did I wanted to be more about quality than quantity,
Uh-huh.
and it just never occurred. I don't want to wear myself down so much that I can't help people. I don't want it to just be like a routine, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does make perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And I also think that quality over quantity,
Yeah.
um, it feels like that gratitude helps with understanding the quality of things that you have and the experiences that you have.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
I see that.
Hmm. That.
Wow. You all right?
Yeah. I'm
We're,
I'm trying to read.
yeah.
A good therapist can.
Always have a therapist who's smarter than you, and a good therapist can spot a mind game ASAP.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but I'm a Scorpio, Beth, and I'm good at them.
It-
So,
this is, and I think I've said this before. I'm a supervisor, and I don't have anybody under me, like, now. I supervise therapists who are coming through, and I would tell them the story. I would say, uh, I know you think you came, you're becoming a therapist so that you can help a lot of people. I said, but a little bit about me and my beliefs is, I believe that as therapists, maybe before we came into the physical, we were talking to our higher power, and we said, I want to um, I want to help a lot of people. I want to learn about this therapy. And the therapist and the higher power said, okay, I'll make you a therapist. You're going to learn so much. But really, to be honest with you, it's not about me helping other people. It's about me learning about me. And it's
yes.
a win-win, because if I can
Hmm.
stay grounded to the point where I can be present with that person, they're going to learn a lot from me, but I'm also going to learn from the hundreds of people that are going to come and sit before me, which is going, my challenge from my higher power is that if you think they should do it, I want to see you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's where in experiences when we get the most understanding.
Yes. Yes.
I love what Sherry said. Now you all know why the light bulb went off in my mind when Sonia and EQ introduced me to Isaac. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sherry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, epiphany. Yep. Absolutely. So I think gosh, thank you for spending your time with me. I anything else you want to share with these wonderful people who are watching?
Mm. The only thing that I would say is take care of yourself. And this is encouragement, and this is also a challenge. Take care of yourself as you would a dear loved one, a child, a parent,
Mm-hmm.
someone that you cared a great deal about, because we often get upset and we protect people that we really love, but we tell ourselves, oh, I can put up with it. I can put up with this a little bit more. You should always ask yourself, if this was my loved one, what would I suggest they do in any situation that
Mm-hmm.
you're in? Because that challenges us to be more, I guess, be more compassionate toward ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's powerful. Kiba is here. Hello, Kiba. Lisa said a mirroring when people with depression come to me was an eye opener.
Wow.
Yeah. And Michelle Marie asked the question, uh, what primary exercise do you use to ground yourself, Isaac?
Breathing, breathing. I will put both feet on the floor and I will breathe deeply, but I practice it so much it just kicks in if I
Mm-hmm.
get into like sort of a an anxious situation. And what it helps me to do is almost like you know how in the movies where they will back away and you just see everything in the room. It helps me to take in everything. Otherwise, it
Oh,
just the camera is like on me, and I'm sweating. But when I get grounded, if I got both feet on the floor and I'm breathing deeply, that helps me to get grounded.
I love that. That's so important. Um, and okay, so yes, Isaac, we rarely show ourselves the same compassion we offer others.
Yes.
Yep, yep. And Peter J. Watts, I've been listening. It's been a real pleasure to meet Isaac and to be part of this conversation if I'm in a lurking role. I am glad you're here, Peter J. Watts. Thank you.
I
Um, Amy from Strength Reversed is here. Nancy from Paper Moon Tarot said, I've decided to count the things I do right every day rather than the things I've done wrong this year.
wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I think, and isn't that what did you say earlier on? What the mind think the body does, or something like that?
Mhm. Yeah, what I don't
Um,
know what I said, but it's where the mind goes, the body follows. We tell us,
so
uh-huh.
yeah. So if you start seeing all of the good, you're going to start seeing more good,
Yeah,
and you're going to be doing more good and recognizing it.
and that's
So
manifesting.
you got it. You got it. And that's magic, people.
That's it.
Um, Lisa Rhodes said, I have always have and still have that problem. It's hard to think about my needs. And Lisa, I think, again, entertainment purposes only. I think awareness is really key. When you can look back at a time and you go, at that time I wasn't taking care of my needs, I was putting somebody else's needs. That's a really important moment, because in that awareness, we can make a different decision. And by the way, I also learned awareness, whenever you have it, from 10 years ago to 10 seconds ago, it's still awareness. It's still impactful.
Yeah.
So, yep. Peter J. Watts said breathing is good. Yeah, society doesn't necessarily promote women thinking of our needs. Yeah, which is freaking annoying. Hello, can bring human life into existence.
Right.
Sorry, a bit of goddess energy right there, It's like, holy crap. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And trust me, mama don't need to say a word. So anyhow, sorry. Got on my high horse.
Let me tell you a little thing. I was talking to my ex-supervisor, and I was telling her, how I was working at work, and I was going home, and I was doing private practice, and I was, and I'd go back in and I'd do this. It was like going round and around. And I told, it's a joke, but I told her, I said, I felt like a single working mother. And she just laughed, because it's like, women, I think they have to realize they don't have to. There's some things we have to do. But when you realize that you're going to work and then you're going home and you're going to work, you got to figure out things that make that work for you. It's like, we think in our mind, especially if you're that workaholic, if I work and I do the work, everything will be okay. And that's almost like an addiction itself. But when you start to figure out, I need to put certain things in place so that my life can be better. I need to ask for help. I need to say, I can't keep jumping up doing everything for everybody. We need to work together. And that's what I think most people need to start saying, because we think that when you keep giving yourself away, when you turn around and you need there's nothing there. You've given it all away.
There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be what I would encourage people to do.
And I actually think I agree with you. And I also, if I would be different if I saw my parents asking each other for help.
Yeah.
Because it's a role model. So, all right, some beautiful things are going on here. Calla said, when I'm having a terrible day, I take Kelly's advice from Dozen Cats. She says, just do one thing, and celebrate that thing. It gets me through the day if it's not going my way. Yes. Lisa, I'm glad January's looking good. I've been a caretaker all my life since 5, now 57. My needs always put on the back burner. I actually had my siblings tell me they have lives. I have to take care of all of them.
Wow.
So, okay. More women need to be encouraged to develop healthy boundaries, especially single moms.
Yes.
Delegate if possible. Yes. So,
I like and I hope I'm not pronouncing
Aspasia.
Yeah. I think we realize it. It's hard to change an entire century-old system that works because of free labor. I like that. That's so true. Because think about it. There are a lot of people who would rather not do anything. They would just sit there. This is my thinking. If there's a guy sitting there and he can't eat unless some female makes his plate and brings it to him, he probably shouldn't eat.
Yes.
I mean, like what we're looking at is baked in the system, and I think that's why people are getting so uneasy because people are changing. They're like, this isn't working for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah. And I hope we're at a tipping point soon to where it tips and that more people are actually taking action around
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
It's so, so very important. So very important. But I think, yeah, Sherry H said, after my husband was disabled about 6 months after I had our son, I went back to work. One day I came home and he says to me, "This is the hardest job I've ever had. I don't know how women do it."
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Regina's Tarot and Wirecraft is here. Hello, Regina.
Hello, Regina.
And yes, women need men need to be taught to respect those boundaries and treat us as equals.
Mhm.
Yes,
What I would say is that you have to teach people how to treat you, and you can do
yes.
it. You don't have to fight them to do it. You can do it gradually. You really can.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember in my training, my mentor actually said, "It's my job to respect you. It's your job to give me something to respect."
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So Joe said, "That is what I said to my ex-husband. You're bug enough and ugly enough to find food." He was resentful of my attention to his baby. I left him eventually.
I don't. I
There
you
you
know.
go.
I think we can negotiate with people. It's like this is this is my thinking. Sometimes people need to hear what you're doing. You need to tell your own story. When someone comes in and says, is this all? Is this what we're having for dinner again? It's like, well, I'm sorry, but I got I did go to work today. I got up at 4 o'clock. Y'all got up at 6, and I got to work. I worked 8 hours. I came back. People need to start telling their stories so that people can see what they're doing. And what we do is we
Yes.
don't tell our story. We allow other people to tell our story. And when you let other people tell your story, you probably won't like it.
Yes.
And you don't have to
Yes.
argue with people. We have to have our say. That's what
Hmm.
makes people feel best. When you don't have your say or you let people assume, you walk away and you think, well, I should have said. Well, you can always go back and say whatever it is.
Yes.
And you don't have to get
Yes.
upset with people. You just have to be, I guess,
Hmm.
more open, honest, and direct.
Yeah. Michelle Marie said an article from New York Times wrote, if American women earned minimum wage for the unpaid work they do around the house and caring for relatives, they would have made $1.5 trillion last year.
Wow. That makes
That's
sense.
incredible.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And food is nurturing, and how we nurture ourselves or others is key, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's that it's so very important for us to um I remember this in high school, and one of the founding fathers or whatever said, maybe it was Plato, I disagree with what you're saying, but I will fight to the death your right to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who said that.
I don't know who said it. Somebody's probably going to Google it and find it, but I really think that it's important for you to say your truth, and it's important for me to try to understand it. And it was Voltaire. Thank you,
Okay.
Beth. I figured Beth would get it. So, I think that's powerful. It's like Lots of people have different opinions than I do. I'm curious about it, and I want to know what they are
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
because I can make an informed decision.
Hmm.
I can also change my freaking mind
Hmm.
because I've got new information. Okay, I'm getting off of my high horse. I'm going to take a sip and I'm going to relax.
Okay.
It's like, and it's really, yeah. I'm glad we're having this conversation, and I think what I hope is, I, what I hope is that people consider what we've said, work on gratitude. There's lots of different ways to have gratitude,
Right.
and um, that that's a law of attraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also think everybody who is showing up and doing their work, as small as it may seem to them, it's having a big impact.
I think so too. I think so too. I really do.
So, and okay, Evelyn Beatrice Hall said it in a biography of Voltaire. And Lisa said there's a restaurant called My Wife Didn't Cook. Well, then you're going to starve. Forage for yourself, you idiot. Well, I miss hanging out with you too, Julie. I'm glad you're here. Julie is probably, are you? No, she was cooking lurking, not knitting
Okay.
lurking.
Okay.
She knits lace, and
Mm.
it's like, how can you knit? And it's all the stuff going on in her mind that
Uh-huh.
freaks me out. I'm like going, ooh, you keep knitting because
Uh-huh.
it's all going somewhere. I know this. So, but Isaac, what are your, do you have any goals or anything you want to share with these lovely people who are watching? Any big
Okay.
takeaways or
I don't think I have any.
hashtag?
Huh?
Okay, this is the leave us with something good, Isaac.
Okay.
Leave us with something good. No pressure, dude.
No
No
pressure.
pressure.
Okay. Let me say this. I grew up, uh, I was very quiet, would not talk. And people would say that I was shy. And and I learned as I grew older. Somebody said that one day, and they was like, "Oh, you must be shy." And I was like, "No, not really. I just don't open up to a lot of people, uh, but I'm not shy." And I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, but I started to realize then that that's when I started to realize that you need to, if there's something that people are saying who you are or what you are, you should counter it, and you should tell them what your thoughts are. It's like
Hmm.
someone earlier said, it's your job to take care of us. Uh, you can say, I take care of you, I do it well, but it's really not my job. Sometimes I'd rather just be alone and take care of me.
Hmm.
And some people do well at taking care of other people, but they still need to take care of themselves. And that's what I would say. I would say learn to tell your own story, even if you're just telling it to yourself. Tell your own story,
Hmm.
because one day you will come in contact with someone, and the way you tell your story to yourself, and if it's hopefully it's in a positive way, that's what will come out of your mouth.
Learn how to tell your own story.
Yes. Yes.
On that note, Isaac, thank you for sharing you with me and with those who are watching and in chat. It's been a great chat. And and Joe just said, my word of the year is noticing my own story.
Yes. Good. Good.
So, and Isaac, I'm going to heap praise in your general direction. Thank you for bringing your authentic self and sharing this with that today. And I imagine you probably do not realize the impact you're having on people's lives.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
I thank you. I thank you.
Thank you.
So, but everybody, thanks for joining in. You all take care, and I will see you the next time.
Yes.
Bye.